Welcome to the StrategiCentre, your center for competitive gaming. My name's GGengar, and I've got a black and white overuse tier match between Lemarjames23 and MrMetalLord13. Now, looking at the teams, this is a sun team versus a sand team, so this is going to be one of those great overuse tier weather wars that is very common in the tier. Lemarjames running a heavy offense sun team, as MrMetalLord is running kind of a balanced sand team, almost leaning towards semi-stall with such defensive pokes such as Slowbro and Skarmory and Donphan on the team. Now, looking at the teams, MrMetalLord's Heatran is going to play a critical role in stopping such heavy sun sweepers as Victory Bell and Volcarona. And Stealth Rock is going to be a massive issue for Lamar's team, as 4 of his pokes are weak to Stealth Rock. Volcarona taking as much as 50% from the Stealth Rock switch-ins. So this is going to be a fairly interesting match, as Volcarona is a giant threat to MrMetalLord's teams. So setting up Stealth Rock ASAP is extremely important for MrMetalLord. So without further ado, let's get on with the match. So the game is going to start out with Lemar and Metal both leading with their Donphans, as Lemar is going to go straight for the EQ on the first turn to gauge what kind of Donphan that is, as Metal is going to set up his rocks to threaten the rest of his team. And looking at that damage, Metal's Donphan is probably a defensive Donphan, so Lemar isn't going to have to worry about that Ice Shard later in the match, as Lemar is going to spin away Metal's rocks because rocks are extremely threatening to Lemar's team. Looking at this is going to be a stalemate. Metal is going to switch out to his Slowbro to start getting momentum on his side, as Lemar is going to set up his rocks. Now, Lemar is going to be forced out, and he's going to go out to his Ninetales, and with the Drought, and this probably being especially defensive Ninetales, even a super effective Scald is going to be doing minimal amounts of damage, as Mr. Metal is going to be forced out to his Heatran just to wall this Ninetales, just to see what it's going to do, as Ninetales is going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, but since Heatran is immune to fire attacks with its ability, it's not going to be doing anything. Ninetales is going to be forced out, and seeing the leftovers on that Heatran, it's probably specially defensive, so Lemar is going to be able to threaten it out with his Dragonite. Mr. Metal pulls a double switch to his Slowbro and stays in on this Outrage, and looking by that damage, that Dragonite is easily banded, as Metal goes for the Scald with his Slowbro but doesn't get the burn. Knowing that it's banded and locked into Outrage, he is going to switch out to his Skarmory to wall this Dragonite, as Skarmory is going to tank that Outrage pretty nicely, as Lemar gets a third turn Outrage, so this gives Mr. Metal an opportunity to go off for a free roost, just to get off all the damage back. Now, Lemar is choice locked into Outrage, so he is going to be forced out on this turn, and he's going to go to his Victini to threaten out the Skarmory, but this actually works out for him better, as Metal pulls a switch to his Tyranitar to set up the Sand. Now, Metal is not going to want to take a Brick Break from Lemar's Victini, and Lemar is just going to make the safe play and go for the Brick Break, not wanting to overpredict, as Metal switches into his Donphan to take just about anything that Lemar wants to go for, as Lemar is going to switch out to his D-Knight, as Donphan is just going to go for the EQ, try to get some damage on that Victini, and seeing that this is a defensive Donphan, he's not going to have to worry about the Ice Shard from Mr. Metal's Donphan, as Lemar is going to go for the Outrage again, just get some damage, as Metal goes for his rocks. Now, Metal is going to be forced out to his Skarmory to wall this Dragonite again, and Lemar is only going to get the 2-turn Outrage, so Lemar can switch out on the turn that Skarmory is forced to roost, so he is going to switch out to his Donphan to get a free spin on those rocks to get rid of them, and potentially in case Skarmory wants to set up spikes as well, he can spin those away too, but Mr. Metal makes the safe play and goes for the roost. Now on this turn, Mr. Metal's Skarmory is going to be forced out, and he's going to go out to his Celebi, as Lemar is going to be able to spin away those rocks. So Lemar has been doing a pretty good job on hazard control on his side, making sure the Stealth Rocks aren't up and doing a lot of damage to his team. However, this turn Lemar is going to be forced out from the Celebi, and seeing the leftovers, he probably assumed it was a Nasty Plot variant, but this Celebi actually packs a Thunder Wave and is able to nab the Dragonite on the switch-in, as he was expecting a Giga Drain from said Celebi, as a Paralyzed Dragonite is going to be an issue, but he is going to pull a double switch out to his Ninetales to set up the Sun again, as Mr. Metal switches into his Slowbro. So Lemar has been doing a pretty good job on these matchups, so Lemar is going to go for the Hypnosis to put something asleep, and Slowbro was kind of a big threat to Lemar's team in certain aspects, so having this thing asleep is going to be an issue. Now this is a beautiful play. Lemar switches in his Victory Bell looking to set up a sweep, but this is actually bait to get Metal to switch out to his Heatran, as Lemar switches out into his banded Dragonite, and since this is especially defensive Heatran, he isn't going to have to worry about the HP Ice from it, So now Lemar gets a free switch in with his paralyzed but banded Dragonite. And he is going to go for a Fire Punch, predicting the Skarmory switch in, but is able to nab that Dawn Fan. So that's first death for Lemar, as Mr. Metal on the Revenge Kill is going to bring in his Tyranitar to set up the sand. And he actually Pursuit Traps Lamar's Dragonite, so those Dragonite's going down as well. As Lemar is going to bring his Ninetales out to set up the Drought again. Now, Mr. Metal's Tyranitar is not going to take a burn, so he is going to switch out to his Slowbro, trying to dodge the Will-O-Wisps, and also in an attempt to try to wake up again, as Lemar is going to switch out to his Volcarona, as Mr. Metal pulls a double switch to his Heatran to wall said Volcarona. Now, at this point, Lemar is going to start setting up, trying to see what this Heatran may have to stop it, as Mr. Metal goes for his rocks again, so he has 2 Stealth Rockers on his team. Now Lemar is going to go for the Hidden Power, kind of gauge the damage on the Heatran to see how much it'll do, as Mr. Metal goes for the Toxic, and Lemar dodges it, and not wanting to get status on his Volcarona, he is going to switch out to his Victini to take the Toxic, as it does take that, and with Stealth Rocks and Toxic, that's kind of doing a number on his Victini. However, Mr. Metal's Heatran is going to be forced out, and he is going to go out to Slowbro just to take anything Lemar wants to go for, as Lemar just goes for the safe Brick Break on the Heatran, trying to take it out. Now, Lemar is probably choiced with his Victini, so he is going to be forced out to his Dawn Fan, as Mr. Metal pulls a double switch to his Celebi, predicting the Dawn Fan switch in. And now seeing Thunder Wave on Mr. Metal's Celebi, this is kind of a questionable play for Lemar as he stays in to take the Giga Drain. I was expecting a Leaf Storm from the Celebi, but it works out for Lemar as he is able to get a free spin off on the Celebi. Now, Dawn Fan cannot stay in on the Celebi anymore, not wanting to take damage, so he is going to switch out, as Mr. Metal is going to switch to his Skarmory to start setting up spikes on this Dawn Fan potentially, as Lemar is going to switch out to his Ninetales, as Mr. Metal is going to be forced to switch out, and now Lemar pulls a triple switch to his Volcarona, as Mr. Metal switches in his Slowbro, which is sleeping. This is a horrible matchup for Mr. Metal, as this gives a free opportunity for Lemar to start setting up, as he is going to switch in his Heatran. Lemar is going to get that +1 with the Quiver Dance. Now, this is looking like a bad situation. Mr. Metal needs to start doing some damage control right away, as Lemar is able to get up to that +2 with the Quiver Dance. Mr. Metal is going to try the Toxic, misses the first Toxic. Lemar is able to keep boosting with his Volcarona. I believe this is +3 at this point, as Mr. Metal is going to go for the Toxic again, trying to wear down this Volcarona, but it doesn't work. He misses the Toxic again, so this is a very sticky situation for Mr. Metal, as Lemar is going to go out, or as Mr. Metal is going to go out to Slowbro, as Lemar gets a +4 with the Quiver Dance. At this point, Mr. Metal is trying to wake up with the Slowbro, but it is futile with all these special defense boosts and special attack and speed boosts. Lemar is up to +5 at this point. Volcarona is going to looking to pull off a late game sweep on Mr. Metal's team. At this point, Lemar is going to take out the Slowbro with the Bug Buzz, and this is looking really bad for Mr. Metal. It's looking like Lemar has a Volcarona sweep set up, as he is going to bring his Heatran back out, as Lemar is going to go for the Hidden Power. It is going to do a number on this Heatran, as Heatran is finally going to get the Toxic off, but it is too late, as Lemar is set up with his Volcarona, and Mr. Metal has literally nothing to do about it. At this point, he is going to go for his last-ditch effort to stop this Volcarona, set up the sand with his Tyranitar to not make his Volcarona have sun-boosted fire attacks, but even that Hidden Power almost takes out the Tyranitar, so a +5 Volcarona is not a threat to be messing around with, as Mr. Metal is going to die with the Bug Buzz. Now at this turn, Mr. Metal has nothing to do. It's basically game for Lemar, as he is going to bring out his Celebi, basically as a sign as death foddering at this point. He's basically just giving up because he has nothing he can do against his Volcarona. So this is looking to be a late game Volcarona sweep. At this point, it is the last turn. If his Skarmory is in sturdy range, he could Whirlwind it, but with the Stealth Rocks up, it's guaranteed not in sturdy, and Mr. Metal is going to forfeit the game. So this is great game, Lemar and Mr. Metal. It is a 5-2 victory for Lemar, but I still thought it was a great match, as both players are playing pretty consistently strong up until the Volcarona sweep at the end. Now check out both of their channels. Links will be in the description. This was a great game. And if you like this battle, leave a like. And if you want to see more battles like this, subscribe to the StrategiCentre. And this will be Good Game Gengar. Thanks for watching, and signing out.